All right. Good morning, everyone. Can't believe I'm going live right now. Just want to make sure that the audio is going through so that you all can hear me. And also, please use the the chat feature so that I can see what is written and so I can respond to any of your questions. I'm hoping that this morning, which is my time, 10 a.m. here in the United States, and I'm in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, and it's early Sunday morning for me, but usually I wake up early in the morning, so it's just perfect timing. And usually I like to do a little bit of meditation in the morning, and then if I get a chance, I do a little bit of exercise, loosen up my body a little bit. So it's perfect timing for me, and I'm extremely happy to see you all signing in and coming to hear this. All right, Salvatore, awesome. Nice to meet you. And I know we've been interacting a lot back and forth on some of the videos, and I'm glad that you're able to make it this morning. Please give me a thumbs up if you are able to hear my audio, or something in the chat that says yes, I can hear you. I just want to make sure that these mics are working. All right. Looks like I got some response that the audio is working fine, and that's good. All right, so before I'm gonna be waiting for the questions that's gonna pop up on the chat, I'm gonna introduce myself a little bit. I know you've been seeing me from the videos that I've been sharing, and I spoke a little bit about myself. But this is an opportunity for all of us to get to know each other, and the reason why I decided to share my videos on YouTube as well as share my knowledge to the majority. I would dedicate this back 40 years ago, right? When I was 8 years old, and almost 41 actually. I'm almost 50 now. And I remember one day reading through one of the books, karate books, and it says, "Learn your karate in 3 months." And actually, it was a karate book on Shotokan. And so when I was flipping through the pages, I was following, some of the basics, like getting into a horse stance, as well as bow and arrow stance, and all those great karate stances, right? And it just got me enthused, and I was like, oh man, when can I able to find a teacher where the teacher is gonna show me real karate, because learning from a book back in the 1980s is hard. I mean, unless you already have the basics, then you can look at a book, and then because you already know what to do, right? And then you just read some of the information, and then you can practice. But knowing nothing at all, and then just reading a book to understand something that requires a physical skill, as well as uh, needing a direction from a sensei or a teacher in order to show you. So it was kind of difficult, right? Um, so when I decided to teach karate, on YouTube, and this is a great platform because I uploaded videos back, I don't know, maybe more than 15 years ago. And when I decided to upload YouTube videos, it was just basically for my karate students. I just want to put videos on there so that when they travel and stuff like that, they can go back and reference these videos that I made for them, so that they can practice their kata, whether they are in their hotel room or wherever, right, that they can access it to. And then earlier this year, I decided, just to take it to another level and learn a little bit, about making, YouTube videos and stuff like that, because I really want to inspire a lot of people out there. I want to make sure that if I can, take my karate and expand, to whoever around the world that wants to learn about martial art. And so I took upon this journey, and decided to upload more videos on YouTube and just help. And I am extremely grateful. Then now, thank you for all of you, to all of you, and I'm past 25,000 subscribers. So that's great. That makes me feel very happy, that people are watching, people are subscribing, and so I decided to continue and make more videos. So if you have questions and on these videos that you watch, please ask these questions, put them in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to respond to them. Okay. All right. Salvatore says, "On a pleasure to follow you on YouTube. I have read a little bit about you and surprised to know that you have found a couple of years ago, since Sensato." Yeah. So a little bit about my background when it comes to Okinawan karate. So I started with American Karate Federation, right, which is the founder is Sensei Gary Ticton, and he had learned Shorin Ryu, Matsubayashi version in Okinawa, right, when he was in the military. And then when he brought to the United States, instead of calling it Matsubayashi, he changed it to American Karate Federation, AKF. The training in itself, it's a little bit different from Matsubayashi, but the kata, the aspect of the kata, the form, it is still within Matsubayashi. Okay, so the 18 katas that we do, it's still within the Matsubayashi guidelines, but the types of training, and I'm gonna get a little bit into that as well. And who knows, I'm probably gonna make a video on how AKF trains, because he applied the military types of training to the additional of the martial arts, of the karate training, right? So we did a lot of the calisthenics, a lot of weight training as well, because his belief is that while doing karate, while having these skills of a martial artist, you also want to have muscle mass as well, right? And another type of muscle mass where you're gonna be really bulky, but enough that your body has enough muscle so that you can move an object that is heavy, right? Especially an object that is heavier than yourself. And I think that's a great concept, because think about it. If you have a skill where you can punch something, right? But if you don't have the strength and the muscle behind it, then it's difficult to say, hey, I'm gonna punch in and break that piece of wood, or sit on the block or stuff like that, right? Because you need both. You need to have skill, and you also need to have strength, right? So I'll get into that a little bit when I get a chance to uh, push the chair in and go in the back and show some move as well, because today's live chat session is both talking, as well as I'm hoping to have an opportunity to share some of the body mechanics as well. Okay. Oh yeah, I haven't talked about Sensei Senzato. So after getting my black belt, third degree black belt in AKF, I was fortunate enough to meet Sensei Shinzato, Katsuhiko Shinzato, when he came to the United States, right? So for those of you who don't know Sensei Katsuhiko Shinzato, he's pretty much, um, uh, I wouldn't call it an author, but he helped translate the book, The Essence of Karate Do, the Nagamini book, right? And when I met him, he was in his early 70s, and it's so funny because karate we do. Let me stand up a little bit, right? And hope yep, I'm still in frame, so that's good. Okay, so in karate we do arm training, right? We do the 3 point arm training where hit here, and then hit down here. And then the other one is when someone punches you, you block, you move over, and then you hit straight down, right? So at that time I was young. I was in my 20s, and so Sensei Senzato, he spotted me. He said, "Len, come over." So I came over, and we were doing arm training with him. And I thought, as a master from Okinawa coming over here to give a seminar, of course you're gonna give him your utmost respect, right? So I was doing arm training with him, and I was trying to go soft, and he looked at me, he gave me that little smile, and he said, "Harder," right? So I was like, okay, I increased my strength a little bit, and he said, even harder, and I was like, oh, okay, I increased another notch. And when he said, okay, give me your full power, I was like, oh, okay, fine. If I have to, then I have to, right? And believe it or not, when I gave him my full power, you know what? He might feel something when I was hitting down, after a block scoop over, and then I hit down to his arm. But when he did that to me, when he struck his forearm down to my forearm, I felt that pain, and I was like, how can a 70-plus-year-old man hit me with that much power, right? And at that point, it was 2005, and I said, you know what? I just have to learn from him. Everything that I've trained in AKF was great, but when you see someone who is much older and can do twice the power of what you can do, it's a question that you really want to find an answer for, right? So after that seminar, Sensei Senzato saw me outside, and he came up to me and he gave me his business card, and he said, "I want to see you in Okinawa." So that night I got home and I told my wife, I said, "Hey, you know what? In the next 2 months, I want to make plans so that I can see Sensei Senzato and see what I can learn from him." And then my life has changed ever since. So in 2005, I flew to Okinawa, met with Sensei, and everything that I have learned in AKF, basically, I wouldn't call it, out the door, but he refined my motion, right? It's no longer being excessive and said, you should power all the way from your shoulder, or use your power from your abs, and what you call it, hara. I also, another thing is, I don't want to use too many technical Japanese terms. I just want to keep it in English so that it's easier to understand, right? So it's no longer that figure eight motion, right? While having that figure eight motion, it allows you to punch through, and having your belt moving side to side to show that, oh yes, you are using your weight so that you can generate power. But he refined all of that, right? So you can look at number 8, and then you cut in half, the 8 becomes the S. So now if we can just punch from here and just turn over with the S motion and straight forward, that's how you generate the power, right? We can talk about number 8, but number 8 essentially gives you power, but it takes away your time, right? So you don't want to, if you are involved in a fighting situation, uh, timing is key, isn't it, right? Because you can talk about these guys who fight in MMA, or UFC, for example. Sometimes they just swing for the fence, right? And when you swing for the fence, does that require skill? Maybe it can be argued that you are requiring a skill, but most of the time these guys are just swinging, right? And having the muscles behind them. Sometimes with this lucky punch, with that perfect timing, right? When the other guy also punches as well, but it just so happened that the other guy's arm just hit you before you are able to hit him, and then he knocks you down, right? So timing is important. Therefore, Sensei Senzato put this in my head that why are we doing kata where we try to emphasize power, but yet we forget about timing, right? And the only reason why we look so powerful when we do our kata is because really we have no opponent. We are punching against the air, right? So yeah, you can generate all this whipping power motion and the gi snapping, all this and that. But then when you get into even a light sparring match, you don't do any of that, right? As much as you try to generate all that power, but if your timing's not there, the other person doesn't even have to be a black belt, nor even a brown belt. Probably a green belt can just do some crazy move and get you before you're able to do all that hip and wind up motion, right? So when Sensei Senzato put all of that information in my head, that's when my karate just changed, right? That's when I decided to say, okay, it's time to do kata where kata it's going to make sense, right? Well, I believe there's two ways of doing kata. One way is you have to do it with finesse, that so your karate will look beautiful, right? Because if someone's gonna ask you, oh yeah, Sensei Lan, why don't you go to the stage and do your karate, do a kata for the audience? Of course, I want to do a kata where it looks beautiful, right? And then the other way of doing kata is I want to do kata where I want to focus on timing and technique that I can get to my opponent quick, fast, and powerful as well, right? So all that flashy, all that turning motion, waist motion. I think that should be preliminary, but don't let it last too long. Sometimes you have senseis who just say, "Oh, just uh, I won't teach you how to use your power from your waist until you become a black belt." I think if you have to wait until you become a black belt, it's too late. For me, I would say, hey, if I can teach to a white belt, it's perfect, right? But you don't want to teach to a brand new white belt. At least let the white belt be in your dojo for at least 3 months or so, and then you start teaching this concept, of timing and take out that figure eight. All right. All right, see what else I got. Yeah, Salvatore just follow up with the same question. Yeah, what was the difference between his teaching and Matsubayashi? Yeah, so Sensei Senzato tells me a lot of stories when he was training in the Matsubayashi dojo with Sensei Nagamine. And so Shinzato Sensei said, they do a lot of kata, right? They do a lot of kata, but when it comes to fighting applications, it's very limited. And when he said limited, he was referring to the bunkai. Bunkai is prearranged fighting, right? So, for example, and you see a lot of these in dojos, right? Let's take elementary kata, fugarani, where you stand, you do your position, and you have one person here, your left, your right, front and back, and you just follow kata. You do high block because he just punch you. You follow punch, and it's all prearranged like that. Well, Sensei Senzato said, if it's prearranged like that, do you really need to follow the format of the kata? You can just stand still and have a guy punch you and just block, a punch and then step back, block. You don't have to do that in a pattern of a kata, really, because if you can do one spot, you can pretty much do every other spot, right? So he's saying that it becomes too robotic, right? It becomes too robotic. So they try to get away from that. And then the other aspect is this. Uh, let's let's take it to the realistic side of martial arts, right? Which is involved in fighting, right? I mean, at the end of the day, of course, as a martial artist, we don't want to be involved in life or death situation, right? We want to avoid anything that involves fighting. But let's say what happened if you are in that situation, right? Then you want to be able to react quickly. You want to be able to not have to block, right? Because let's face the truth, when you block someone, right, you have to give that person also the benefit that he's going to be thrown many punches at you. So when he's throwing many punches at you, it's very difficult to block, right? So therefore, Sensei Senzato and Sensei Kishaba was talking about, how is that I can generate power for everything, right? So if you've been hearing that, hey, a block is not essentially a block is also a strike. Yeah, so that's the concept that they were referring to is, hey, if the other person move, I'm gonna move with him, right? So if I'm gonna move this way here, is this really a block or this is a strike? And that's what, as a martial artist, you want to start telling yourself, how do you want to practice your block and your strike? Is your block really a block, or is your block really a strike to the face, right? So because of that kind of concept that Suzato Sensei was drawing on, so it makes his kata practice different, right? So everything becomes quick, quick, and no longer slow, right? So it's no longer joy and then step and then step out and block like that, but it's pretty much familiar joy. And then as he turned, I'm gonna move back a little bit so that you can see my legs, right? So Sensei's philosophy is, as you turn, you and legs. I'm gonna move a little bit too so the video can capture me. Legs and hands should be the same, right? So if I turn, legs and hands should be the same, right? Legs and hands should be the same. Why is that? Think of a boxer punching a bag, right? If I'm gonna stand still and just punch like that, right? Then it's pretty much, once I hit the force, it just sends right back to the shoulder, and that's it, right? And really, you don't have any anchor to hold your shoulder back, right? But if I punch the back and look, my back heel goes up like that for boxing, for example, because boxers are great athletes, right? Because these guys are able to utilize their whole entire body. So I'm gonna use them as an example for now. So when they punch and their legs goes up like this here, it's because they are using their legs to anchor from the ground, right? So when you punch like this here, the legs is anchored from the ground, and then as it touches here, the foot pivots, and then it helps the waist to also pivot as well, sending all that power into the back, right? So that's the reason why Sensei developed that hands and legs should go together. Hands and legs should go together, right? Because if let's say the first move here is block, or let's say strike, whatever, as I turn here, at impact, I need my leg as well to hold my body up, like that, right? So those are the kinds of concept that these I don't want to call it these Okinawans, but Sensei Kishaba and Sensei Senzato, they got together at his dojo, at Senzato's dojo in Okinawa, and they just talked over it, and they decided to say, hey, let's practice something that makes it real, and makes it that if I have to hit you already, you're gonna feel that impact on your body that you don't want to to have a shot at me again, right? And that's how their karate evolve, and that's what makes me feel as though this is the right way of training, right? Because if someone is going to attack me, I don't want to be, having to punch back and forth like, 5, 10 times. If I can just, hit them one time and that person feel that, oh my goodness, that's a lot of power. It makes that person either run away or just, stop the fight. And, a true martial artist, you don't want to involve in a fight anyway, right? If you can do something like that and, make the other person, stop attacking you, then that is golden. All right, so that's a long-winded answer for how Sensato's karate impact my training, my philosophy, but I think it's great to expand on that. All right, I got Forex from watching from UK. Awesome. Yeah. I don't know, what is the time in UK right now? Awesome. So I'll wait for you to let me know what's the time in UK. See what else. So a little bit about me as well, and I also practice a bit of Wing Chun. I think Wing Chun, Wing Chun. So for those of you who don't know Wing Chun, so Wing Chun, I guess Bruce Lee pretty much made Wing Chun became pretty much famous, right? Because when Bruce Lee came out with his movies back in the 70s, and a lot of these moves are very compact. And I'm gonna turn the camera this way here so you can see what I have in my dojo, right? So I have Wing Chun dummy as well, right? Okay, and turn this back. And the reason why I love Wing Chun so much, and I think it just complements pretty well with Okinawan karate, is because of the movement, especially when you work on Naihanchi kata. Okay, and I hope I'm going to get back to talking about Okinawan karate as well, because I don't want to limit just only Shorin Ryu, but I want to talk about your Goju Ryu and Uechi Ryu, and and how they are all connected, right? But getting back to Wing Chun, so Wing Chun, the way that they get into a ready stance, right? It's this hand, right? So they call a blocking or ready hand, and then also a fighting hand, right? So a lot of it is within the line like this, right? So if you think about Nahanji kata, especially in Matsubayashi, right? So we right. So you see a lot of these in Matsubayashi Nahanji kata, right? You see a lot of this, and everything just go from center line, right? So center line, you go center line, right? Center line, right? And back is center line, right? And then when you put all of these into applications, right? Into applications, instead of just doing Nahanchi one by one and just go, block, double, and fist, back fist, Yuriken, put it together. So you go block, right? Break, and then back. So same thing in Wing Chun, where you opponent punches, you block here, right? Once you block here, his hands here, you grab and then boom, underneath and break his underarm, right? And then followed by slap down the other hand and back fist. So there is a relation. There's a relation between somewhat Wing Chun and these Nahanchi katas. Now, I don't know enough history. I'm sure there are many of you who are watching this video who are great martial art historians, right? So you probably go further back and prove that yes, all karate came from China, and that's where Wing Chun started and therefore is being influenced. Yeah, of course, that may be true, right? For me, practicing many different types of martial arts now. I've been doing Wing Chun, Shorin Ryu, a little bit introduction to Goju Ryu, Wei Chi Ryu, Hapkido, which is a Korean style, and involved with a bit of jujitsu. I feel as though that they are all the same, right? Because at the end of the day, look, it doesn't matter what style you learn, you're still using two arms and two legs, right? So some of these, not some, many of these moves actually mimics each other, right? Think about it. It mimics each other because I can take a video of Wing Chun, a video of karate, a video of Korean Hapkido, and I can put them together, and I can tell you that, hey, look, there are similarities, right? Because think about it, like I said, you still use two hands, two legs, and your body, right? So therefore, it's just how you look at it, and you can see the similarities, or you can say, oh, look, there's a difference, right? So this is what I feel as though Sensei Senzato has changed me, right? Is because he said it really doesn't matter what style you learn, whether you learn, Chinese kung fu, Okinawan karate, or even Japanese karate. There's a difference, right, between Okinawan karate and Japanese karate, right? Or Korean martial arts, or even Vietnamese martial art or jiu-jitsu, right? It all boils down to body mechanics. Body mechanics is key. It's understanding the leverage. It's understanding if you increase, a certain amount of space between your elbow and your rib cage, that you are increasing your power. If you understand that, any types of martial arts out there can incorporate um, this principle into their training. Okay, so even though right now my main focus is Shorin Ryu, because I just love this style so much, right? Because it makes so much sense to me. And the reason why I dropped pretty much all of the other martial arts and only focused on Shorin Ryu is because this is the type of martial arts that I can practice all the way up until my old age, right? Since Otto is, when I met him, he was in his 70s. Now he's in his mid 80s, and he's still as strong because he's still able to train, right? He's still able to do the things that he had done, 50 years ago, right? So for me, when I train Hapkido, yes, we do a lot of locking and stuff. I can still lock my training partner, and I can throw my training partner. But if the other way around, if my training partner throws me, I don't like it as much, right? I don't like the falling as much anymore, right? So I like to do the moves. I just don't like to receive it. So therefore, I'm like, okay, you know what? If I practice that, I only practice, to my benefit as the person who's doing versus the person who's receiving. Okay, same thing for jujitsu. I mean, yes, it's a nice sport that you can train at any age, but you get to a certain age where you just don't feel like rolling around anymore, right? Because it does take a lot of pressure on your body, right? Or you can have an opponent where he puts you on a choke, or even an armbar, and then you feel as though, oh my goodness, should I tap or should I not tap? Because as you get older, it just a half an inch can pop a ligament, right? So do you really want to take that risk? And so therefore, and those are just some of the examples. But if you take all that into consideration, I like showing reviews because yes, I'm still able to do my 18 katas, right? I'm still able to, hit my students, and likewise, my student able to hit me too, right? Because we're not doing crazy things where we pound each other. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that too, body conditioning, and I hope I got the next 30 minutes. I hope I'm going to remember to talk about the body conditioning as well, right? But at least Shorin Ryu gives me that ability where I can still train on a daily basis, right? And I train 5 days a week. Um, and that's training from calisthenics, body weight training, as well as doing my kata, right? And that's the reason why I decided to not drop, not to say drop everything, but mainly the most of my focus is in the Shorin Ryu itself. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about body conditioning. Okay. This is a strange one. So when I was younger, in my 30s, I would get, uh, especially what's that Japanese style, Kyoku Shinkai, right? Where and I gotta give it to these guys, right? They will be punching on each other's bodies and stuff like that, right? They cannot punch to the face, but when they do tournaments and stuff, they are allowed to kick onto the face. Body conditioning, it's awesome, right? I mean, Muay Thai. When I watch these guys, I'm like, oh my goodness, they are so strong, and they can receive kicks and this and that. I had that conversation with Sensei Sinjato as well, and I was asking, I'm like, should we focus on body conditioning? And after our conversations, it really opened up my thinking a little bit, right? And he said, yeah, it's great to condition the body, but when you get into a fight, how we stand in a nice solid horse stance, and we tighten our body, and then you have an instructor or someone coming over and hit your shoulder blade, or hit your side, your ribs, or hit your stomach, and then you tense up like that, and you hold your breath while you're receiving the blow. That is great that you're able to receive all of that, right? But when you are actually fighting with someone, you are not tense all the time, right? So every time when you breathe and you hold it tight, you tense your body, you feel that. But when you need air and you feel tired, you tend to relax, right? And when you relax, and let's say at the moment of relaxation, and your opponent hits you, really, you can't condition that. You will get hurt, and you will feel hurt, right? So it's not to say all the conditioning that I have done, it's going to be strong enough that even during relaxation, I can receive a blow, because you can't, because you will be hurt, right? So after understanding that, then I was like, okay, should we continue to practice conditioning where I have the other person, hit me while I'm standing in that, a ready position, right, to receive all that conditioning. And I thought about it. I'm like, really, it's not worth it. Maybe when you are young and young and strong, and your body's still growing, yeah, you can take it. But as you get older, and you're 40, 50s, and 60s, I don't know how much of those conditioning that you want to receive. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I have friends who practice Goju Ryu and Uchi Ryu, where they take a lot of those conditioning. And I'm glad that in Matsubayashi, I don't see it, that we do that kind of conditioning. And I'm glad that we're not, because it is unnecessary blows. For those of you who are in Uchi Ryu and Goju Ryu, if I'm more than welcome If you disagree with me, yeah, I think it is a great discussion to have actually, because when I watch these conditionings, I'm like, I mean, how much can your body take all that abuse, right? Because uh, you're being hit pretty hard, right? So is that to say, Len, should we never do conditioning anymore? No, you have to continue to do conditioning, but the conditioning is this: you only condition your fist because this is where you're gonna hit your opponent, and you're gonna condition your forearm and your bicep and tricep, right? And you're gonna condition your legs, right? Your entire legs. Why? Because these are your arsenals here, right? You punch your opponent with your arms, right? With both your arms, you're constantly punching your opponent. Likewise with your legs. So therefore, these need to be conditioned because let's say you punch your opponent and your opponent hits you here, you feel hurt, but at least you condition enough to say, hey, you know what? I can still do some more. Whereas your body's different. You don't use your body as an arsenal. You use your arms and your legs as an arsenal, as the weapon in order for you to fight, right? So conditioning these are important. And plus, your vital organs are basically here, right? Your vital organs is pretty much within the center line. So why allowing someone to damage your vital organs every time when you get hit around here? You're hurting something internally. I've seen, I have friends who practice Muay Thai where they after a training session they'll come home and they're like, oh my goodness, man, I'm being abused, and you can see their body being all bruised up, and I was like, is it worth it? But these guys are like, yeah, I feel good. Well, they can feel good right now when they're young, but as they get a little bit older, it's a different story. Right? That's when they find out that, yeah, maybe it was good at that moment, but in reality, it might do a disservice as you get older. Because for myself, I'm almost 50 years old now, and I want to train in my 70s and my 80s, like since out. I don't want to stop. In For these guys, they might have to stop in their 40s because they found out that, oh, you know what, I can't move as good as I used to move in my 20s and 30s anymore. Why put yourself at that level? Now, if we are talking about guys who are training to fight in MMA or UFC, now that's a totally different story, right? Because these are the guys who actually make money, right? Basically, their living is through fighting, so they have to train like that, right? They have to train to be brutal to their body in order to mimic the reality of fighting. That's a different story, right? That's beyond than just a sport. That's a career. That's their life. But an average person like us who wants to train martial art so that we can prepare ourselves for situation that might arise someday that we have to protect ourselves, then we don't have to go to that extreme, right? We can practice on a daily basis where we train out, like I said, our arms and our legs to be strong. That's it. We don't have to really damage our bodies from all that conditioning. Okay. All right. What else? Yeah. So I want to get back to the body mechanics, right? So how can body mechanics, like the way Sensei Senzato taught me, that can be applied to any styles out there, right? Right. So look, if you want to define your karate, right? Meaning that you want, if I am a karate master that I knew a lot about different kinds of martial arts, right? And I see a person who goes up on stage and do Shorin Ryu kata, and I'll be like, oh, that's pretty nice because in Shorin Ryu it's very smooth, right? And okay, and then I see another person from Weichi Ryu who does the kata, and Weichi Ryu is and let me know in the chat if you practice Weichi Ryu. It's very forward, and they do a lot of circular motion and stuff like that. Yeah, it's nice to look at someone and to say, yes, that person does this person does that, and it's so beautiful because you want to have variety, right? You want to see different types of martial arts, right? Because different types of martial arts do different things with their techniques. But the core principle is this: you can do different techniques all you want, but you have to understand the body mechanics, right? Let's say if someone punches at me in our style, shorter you, so we block. So this is center line, we block, and we come out this way, right? You see how my body, I don't come out square, I come out this way, right? I come out this way here, and I have in my other videos where I talk about the reason why I come out at an angle. It's because it's easier to block and more real, right? But it's that to say that, hey, people in Weichi they block this way, right? They block. They don't. They just go circular, right? They just go circular, and the body stays still, right? It's that to say, wait, you guys just do the wrong types of block because that's not gonna work. No, I think both of them will work, right? Both of them will work. Just which one is gonna work more effectively, right? Work doesn't mean doesn't mean it can last long, right? Work means work, but you want something that can work effectively, and it takes the strain out of your body. Okay, so here goes the body mechanics that Cesato taught me is every time when we move our hands, right? So if I'm gonna stand this way here, you can see easier. Every time when I move our hand, if it's too close to the body, right? If it's too close to the body, then it's easier for someone to press in and then compress you. And you can try it with your partner or someone after this, watching this video. You can go to your dojo and ask someone to push your arm in, right? You just put this close to your body like this and ask them to push this in, and you try to resist, push it out. It's very hard. It's really hard because you don't have that leverage in order for you to push out like that, in order for you to push out, right? But if you are increasing a certain amount of leverage, and I don't want to get into a specific amount of distance between your elbow and your rib cage, right? Because that's getting too technical. Why? In a real fight, you can't say, oh, I'm blocking him. Let me check to see if this exactly, 5 inches, like what Len said. No, right? Your body will feel it. You will. So that being said, once you open and leave a distance between your elbow and your rib cage, the distance long enough so that now you ask someone, and also this angle here as well, to push in. As you push in, you push out, right? And it becomes so much easier. Right? So it becomes so much easier for you to resist. So what's the difference between here and here? It's all about leverage, right? It's all about the body mechanics, right? And this here in itself is leverage. And I haven't talked about the legs yet, right? But this here just to prove that, hey, when I open up, it's hard for the other person to push in, right? Already it should make you be thinking a little bit, right? So now I'm gonna just use two examples for now. I don't want to get in too many examples, right? So in Shorin-ryu, we block this way, right? So angle, we block this way, okay, right? Now Weichi-ryu, like I said, they block circular this way, right? So if we are going to apply this concept, this body mechanic concept to Weichi-ryu, then if they do it this way with elbow close, Will this work? No, it wouldn't work, right? Because it's too restricted here, too restricted here. That at impact, you're gonna be caved, right? But if they go circle and they come out here, right? If they come out here, you see how I go square here, this angle. So if I turn around here, you see the distance here, here. So you have enough of distance here that at impact, you're still gonna be, blocking your opponent, right? Even though they do circular, but yet their shoulder is still square because now the body mechanics works for both style, right? Right? Think about that, right? So now let's take it up to another notch. When you and you guys can put in the chat as well if this has experienced to you before. So when you have a sensei, right, who come and you do your kata and your sensei does the count ichi, whatever, and yes, you have to do this motion here, right? And the sensei comes over and he starts pulling your hand and he moves up an inch here, and then you kind of wonder, like, okay, why didn't you just move my elbow up an inch, right? Think about this, okay? Think about this. Does the sensei actually feel that moving 1 inch up is going to change the impact of your kata, or he just moved 1 inch up for his own preference? Think about it, right? Think about this. Because for me, when I fix my student, right? When I fix my student, I just don't go up there blindly and pull up 1 inch, right? Because I feel as though, hey, it fits my preference better, right? Because at the end of the day, when you take this to reality, right? Really, if I go down, look. So now I'm going to keep the distance. If I go down here, I'll go here. Who cares? It's the same thing, because as long as you keep the mechanics, the body mechanics correct here at the base like this with this range, whether your student wants to block here, or here, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, right? Think about it. The student can still maintain the block because the student already has the leverage, right? It already has the body mechanics in control, right? So why even bother changing it? Unless you tell your students, say, hey, in the kata, in order to make it look nice, yes, we have to do, that the fist should be above the shoulder, right? Then you explain that to your student. You said, hey, look, this will make it look nice. But you got to also tell your student that, hey, based on the leverage, you are doing good. You are understanding the leverage. That if you are involved in a fighting, true, real fighting situation, that you are understood what the leverage is all about, right? That you understood the body mechanics. All right. So that's a lot. I mean, I introduced myself. I also talked about the body mechanics and how it has impacted me, and how I decided to make Shorin Ryu as my foundation as to how I train. So my ask for all of you is, let me know, in the chat, or let me know in the videos that you have been watching, the things that you want to see, right? And I'll do my best to make a video to address all of that, all the inquiries, so that so that I can help you to take your karate to the next level, right? Because like I said, at the end of the day, we all of us have two arms and two legs, and even let's say we are doing different kinds of martial arts, it really doesn't matter, right? Our kata or our forms might be different, but yet the foundation, the leverage of adding power, uh, are the same, right? And I just realized that I didn't even get into talking about how to generate the body mechanics using the legs in order to transfer power up to the arm yet, right? Because now this is the first time that I'm doing this this live session, and I realized that it's already 55 minutes. Time just flies. So I hope to maybe in the future make another live session so that I can, expand a little bit more on the body mechanics, or I can just, create another video and talk about, how to generate the power from the legs. Although I do believe I already have one of the videos out there already. Um, but yes, if you want to continue to learn and watch what you can get from my videos, please send me a chat, send me an email, and a personal chat, and I can talk with you back and forth on an email. I would love to see and to follow your journey to see how far you have come in order for you to achieve your goal to become the best version of your martial arts journey. And for the last 41 years of training martial arts, I feel as though that I want to give back to the community of what I have learned from great senseis, and I feel that it is my duty for me to help as many people who are interested in martial arts, right? Um, I got questions, that people ask, yeah, but what happened if someone, do this move and that move, and in a crazy world that we live in, how do we respond to some of these techniques and stuff like that? It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me to respond, via text, and I think it's also difficult to respond on a video as well, because you really don't know or don't understand much until we have that one-on-one interaction. So I hope that one day, and I'm gonna try to make videos, private videos, for any of you who are interested in watching and learning more of the detailed videos that I'm going to put together, so that you can understand a little bit more on how we generate power when we are practicing. Or if your dojo is interested, you can send me a private chat as well, and have me come and do a seminar. Right? It can be an hour, it can be a few hours. I would love to travel and to be at your dojo and to share my knowledge. Right? And at the end of the day, that's what makes martial arts beautiful, is how we martial art brothers and sisters can get together and enjoy what different people have encountered or experienced in their lives as a martial artist, and how we can share these among our martial arts brothers and sisters. All right, with that, looks like we're winding down. I can't believe it's almost an hour already, and I would like to say thank you very much, for logging on, for watching this 1 hour live stream, and it's a pleasure to share with you what I know about karate, especially Okinawan karate, Shorin Ryu, and I hope to see you all again. And please continue watching. Please like and share my videos, and best wishes to all of you. All right, bye for now.